Style or fashion? What's the difference? Well, we're going to talk about it when we get back. I'm CLM II for Style with Power, the channel that helps empower men through style. Okay. Hey, happy Monday. We hope everyone out there had a great 4-day weekend, as we just had Thanksgiving last Thursday, which was a beautiful day. Started off a little rainy on the northeast here, but then it cleared up. The sun came out, and the sun has been out all weekend. So we're hoping that everyone out there had a great Thanksgiving, and hopefully everyone out there stays safe. As we know, the COVID virus is starting to spike because we want to be with our friends and family members during the holidays. But we hope everybody out there stays safe. So before we get into today's video, if you're into videos that talks about style, talks about fashion, talks about empowerment, and that talks about mindset, well, this is the channel for you. So don't forget, hit that subscribe button. The little notification bell so you know every time we upload a video. And if you're on Facebook, hey, give us a like. We can definitely use your help. Today's video, we're going to cover a couple of topics. The first topic we're going to cover today is style versus fashion. And, there's always a big controversy because a lot of people intertwine the words style and fashion. And you see in my introduction every week, I always talk about if you're into style or fashion, you can check out this video, you can check out this YouTube channel. But what's the difference between style and fashion? Well, I got a couple of videos, a couple of people who I have been watching their videos online who talks a little bit about the difference between style and fashion. So let me give you my take on the difference between style and fashion, and it's pretty much the same across the board. So style, right? Style is about you. Style is about your inner self and the way that you see yourself and how you project yourself out into the world. That's your style, right? And one of the things that I've always attempted to do, and I've always tried to pass on to you, is that it's important that you have your own style. You be who you are and just incorporate the clothes and the walk and the talk and the knowledge to kind of create your own style, so that when you walk into a room, people know it's about you. That's your style. That's how you always have done things. That's your swag, as we like to say in the hood. You got some swag about you, right? And we can think about a bunch of people who just have style. When you see them, you know they have style. One of the people that comes to mind is a guy that's who's a part of the crew I kind of grew up with, is Mr. Steve Harvey. Now, we all know that Uncle Steve has some great style. One, he's dressed to the nines ever since we've known him. Ever since this guy has appeared on television, he has been one of the best dressed out there. But Uncle Steve is not about fashion. See, so what is fashion? Well, fashion is what designers have to create every year or every season, different apparels, right? That's what people create in order to keep us as consumers from running to the stores to buy these items, right? Fashion, fads, trends, right? What's the hot thing out right now? Let's go out and let's get it. That's fashion, right? And that's why we have all these fashion shows, Fashion Week in New York City, right? Fashion in Paris, fashionistas, all these type of names with fashion, because these are the creators. And they just create new things so that we as consumers can see it on the runway and go, hey, I like that piece. Let me go out and let me buy it. right? Now, if you're into fashion, then you're constantly changing up all the time to try to keep up with the Joneses or try to keep up with anybody who's out there who's hot. This is the hot thing, right? These are the hot new sneakers. This is the hot new dress. This is the hot new coat, right? Hot things. So fashion is just a fad, it's a trend. It comes and it goes. But people with style never go away. So what I did is that I went online and I got a few individuals that likes to talk about the difference between style and fashion, right? Let's take a look.
What's up, YouTube? Jeff, your Style OG. And on today's video, we're gonna talk about style versus fashion and what the difference is. If you first off, style to me is a personal expression. It's how you use your outside appearance to communicate to the outside world. It's the vibe you give off when you're wearing your clothes. And that can be informed by fashion. Style and fashion are related. Style evolves while fashion changes quickly. Style evolves over time, whereas fashion is of the now. It's cyclical, it's seasonal, it's trendy. To me, style is more personal and it comes from the inside out, whereas fashion is more temporary and to me, it's dictated by current trends.
Style versus fashion. What's the difference between the two? That's a question I'm hoping to answer with you guys today. My name is Marcel Flores. Welcome to my YouTube channel, One Dapper Street. Fashion is all the clothes that you wear, but style is how you wear them, how you put them together, how you make it really you, and use it as a form of self-expression, which to me, it primarily is.
Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about style versus fashion.
So when you're starting out getting into dressing well and kind of, getting outside your comfort zone, people often think style and fashion are the same thing. Our opinion is we think fashion is what you buy, style is how you wear it. And most people think the more fashionable you are, the more money you spend, therefore the more stylish you are, which is not necessarily true.
No, by far. I mean, fashion to me means runway, it means like avant-garde, it means people who know designers and fabrics. Stylish is just someone who's stylish, someone who carries themselves with elegance or with class or with confidence. That's style.
Right. If you have style, you can fit into any genre of, you can dress down in a white tee and jeans, or you can dress up in a suit and a tie because you understand the rules, how things fit together, and you know how to pull off that type of outfit.
Well, what did you think about those videos? So we had video from the Style OG, right? We had a video from One Dapper Street, and we had a video from Gents Lounge. And all three individuals talks about what they believe style is as opposed to fashion. And they all have some great ideas, and they all have some great knowledge. And I just advise you to go out there and check out their videos. Their videos are fantastic. That's the Style OG, One Dapper Street, and Gents Lounge. And just go on YouTube and just put any of those in, and you can check those guys out. And I definitely agree with them. They definitely have some great ideas. So, some of the individuals out there that has style is someone like a Bradley Cooper. Those of you who are big Bradley Cooper fans, you can see in these pictures, we got Bradley in a suit and tie and overcoat. He just has that swag, that style. And then we got pictures of him in a nice casual look, jeans, leather jacket, t-shirt. And in both pictures, Bradley just has a style about him. It's not about the fashion, it's not about the clothes, the name brands, or any of that. It's just about his personal style. It's cool. Another individual who just has that style, that swag, Idris Elba. We all love Idris Elba. And as you can see in this picture, Idris just has a certain flair about him. And when we see him in movies, we notice the clothes he wears and how he wears them. He just has that style about him. So Idris is cool. Now for some of you younger people who are into the hip hop scene, we got someone who's very fashionable. And that's A$AP Rocky. So those of you who are into the hip hop game, you know A$AP Rocky, and you know that he is very, very much into fashion. Wouldn't say he has a style set yet, but he's still young. He's gonna get that style as he moves on. But he's very, very big into fashion. Whatever's hot, A$AP Rocky has it, and if he doesn't have it, he creates it. So he's very, very fashionable. But eventually, as he gets older, he'll become a little more stylish. And everybody will know A$AP Rocky because he'll just have a certain style. And he won't worry too much about name brands. See, and that's the difference between someone who has a style and those who are into fashion. Those who have a style can take any fashion and they can just incorporate that and put that into their wardrobe, and their style is still there, you still see them. So that's the big difference between style and fashion. So what I'm hoping is that you go out there and you create your style, and then take whatever fashion is out there, whatever's hot, you take it, you incorporate it into your wardrobe, and you make it stylish, and people say, hey, you look great. You look fantastic. So, what helps an individual become stylish? How can I look at someone and see if they're into fashion or if they're into style? Well, one of the things that everybody who wants to create a style should do, you should definitely go out and get yourself a tailor. Yes, have your clothes tailored to fit. When you have your clothes tailored, people can notice it a mile away. They'll look at you and say, that person has a nice style. They know what they're doing. They know how to match their colors, but the clothes that they're wearing are fitting them to a T. And where do you get tailored? Most of the time for men, of course, you get your suits tailored, or you get your sports jacket or your slacks tailored to fit. Some of you out there may even get your shirts tailored, right? But if you don't get your shirts tailored, make sure that if you buy a shirt off the rack, make sure it's your size. Make sure it fits you perfectly. And if you don't know your chest size and your neck size and your arm length, well, just have someone measure. Have someone measure that so that when you go into the store, you're asking for a specific size that's going to fit you perfectly. The worst thing in the world is when your clothes are too tight or too loose or too big, right? And people can see that a mile away. So get yourself a tailor, and you can go check out my video about my tailor right here. Just click the link, you go check out that video, and you'll see a great video on what happens when you go to a tailor. What does the tailor do for you? So you want to create a nice style? Get yourself a tailor, right? There you go. So that's the difference between style and fashion. So the last story that we're going to talk about is a great, great man. He just passed away, and you talk about style. This gentleman definitely has style. Just this past week, we lost the one and only African-American male who was the mayor of New York City. His name is David N. Dinkins. And if you don't know anything about David Dinkins, let's watch this video.
The 106th mayor of the city of New York, David Dinkins, rose through the political ranks. Assemblyman, county clerk, borough president. He beat three-term incumbent Ed Koch in a primary. And then Rudy Giuliani in the general election.
Our new mayor, the Honorable David N. Dinkins.
Introduced by Harry Belafonte, lawyer and ex-Marine David Dinkins became the city's first black mayor on Inauguration Day in 1989.
And that I will faithfully perform the duties
Of the office of the mayor of the city of New York.
of the office of the mayor of the city of New York
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mayor Dinkins took the helm of a city still suffering from crime fueled by the crack epidemic and from fiscal and racial hemorrhaging. That included the bloody August 1991 riots in Crown Heights. 2 black children were hit by a station wagon that was part of the motorcade for the Grand Rebbe of the Lubavitch Hasidic sect. 7-year-old Gavin Cato died. The accident touched off 3 days of anti-Jewish rioting. A mob attacked a rabbinical student who was knifed to death. In happier times, Dinkins reveled in his role as mayor. One particularly moving time for him, Nelson Mandela's visit to the city in 1990.
I am a Yankee!
Mayor Dinkins loved tennis and worked a deal for a new tennis stadium in Queens that's leased to the U.S. Tennis Association. Dinkins had a reputation for his poise, politeness, and decorum. One lapse in politeness was recorded for posterity. Certainly, the dignity he lent to the office of mayor is the more celebrated of his legacy. Asked how he wanted to be remembered,
someone who cared about all of the people, especially children, and I never ever sought to be the mayor of black folks. I was the mayor of all of the people who happened to be a black person.
David Dinkins, outstanding, outstanding gentleman. He did a lot for New York City. He was a part of a group called the Core 4 in New York City, and that was 4 African-American males who pooled their talents together in New York City in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, and they did some great things. We had Charles Rangel, who we all know was a congressman for over 30 years. We had David N. Dinkins, who had every office you can imagine in New York City. We had Percy Sutton. Percy Sutton was also the borough president of Manhattan, and also he owned radio stations. And we had Basil Patterson, who also was a gentleman who held elected office in New York City for years. And these 4 African-American males did a lot to elevate the African-American community in New York City. And we all looked up to them, and those were giants. And we're just hoping that we can follow in their great footsteps. So we just lost David N. Dinkins, outstanding gentleman, and all 4 of those gentlemen were stylish. They all had a swag about them, and they was never obnoxious. If you remember looking at Charles Rangel, he dressed to the nines. He had a style. He used to wear his bow ties. Percy Sutton always had on a crisp white shirt, always had on a beautiful blue suit. Right? David Dinkins, after he retired, he was known as the dapper David Dinkins. He always dressed to the nines, and Basil Patterson also did the same. These 4 guys were great men of style. We loved them. And one of the things I just found out is that my mother told me that on her marriage certificate, it was signed by the clerk, and his name was David N. Dinkins. So to my moms who's out there probably watching this video, kudos to you, Mom. I love you. And it's fantastic that she respects David Dinkins the way most of us respected David Dinkins. He did a lot for New York City. Well, that's our show for this week. Hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I will see you next week.